When Elon Musk received a mysterious letter from his ex-wife after 20 years of distance, he had no idea his entire life was about to change. The envelope arrived at his SpaceX office with a Canadian postmark. Inside, just a few handwritten words. "There's something I should have told you 20 years ago. It's time you knew." What could Justine possibly need to tell him after all this time? Elon's mind raced. Was it about their 5 sons? A family secret? Something about Nevada, the baby they lost 22 years ago? He booked a private jet to Toronto that same night, canceling 3 important meetings. But when he arrived at the old cafe where they used to study together in college, Justine wasn't alone. And what she was about to show him would shake him to his core. You see, Elon was about to discover a family member he never knew existed. Someone who had been erased from his family's history for 50 years. Someone who was dying and had one final lesson to teach him. This wasn't just about uncovering a hidden relative. This was about confronting a pattern that had destroyed his family for generations. A pattern that had cost him his first marriage, his relationship with his children, and maybe even his firstborn son. What Elon found when he visited his ex after 20 years didn't just shock him. It changed everything he thought he knew about success, family, and what it means to truly be present in the lives of the people you love. The truth was waiting in a quiet room in Toronto, and it involved a 78-year-old woman, a 50-year-old love story, and a 10-year-old boy with a failing heart who would teach the world's richest man the most important lesson of his life. Stay with me until the end of this story, because what happens next will make you see Elon Musk, and maybe even your own life, in a completely different way. This is a story about loss, love, and learning what really matters before it's too late. Let me take you back to October 15, 2024, when everything began. October 15, 2024, Tuesday afternoon. Elon Musk stared at the massive blueprint spread across his desk at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. The Starship design glowed under the LED lights, shiny metal tubes that would carry humans to Mars. His Mars, the dream he'd been chasing for 20 years. Mr. Musk, his assistant Maria, knocked softly on the glass door. "Sorry to interrupt, but this just arrived for you." Elon didn't look up. His finger traced the fuel line specifications. "Email it to me." "It's not an email, sir. It's a letter, handwritten from Canada." That made him pause. Nobody sent handwritten letters anymore, especially not to him. Everything came through encrypted channels, lawyers, or direct messages on X. He turned around. Maria held a cream-colored envelope, slightly thick, with a Canadian stamp in the corner. The postmark read, "Toronto, Ontario." "Who's it from?" he asked. "No return address, but there's a name on the back flap, Justine Wilson." Elon's hand stopped halfway to his coffee cup. The room suddenly felt smaller. Justine, his first wife. The woman he'd married in January 2000, back when XCOM was just becoming something real. The mother of his 5 sons. The person he'd loved fiercely and lost completely. They'd divorced in 2008, 16 years ago now. They co-parented, sure, shared custody schedules, polite text messages about school events and doctor appointments, but actual conversation. Real connection. That had ended long before the divorce papers were signed. The last time they truly talked, not about logistics but about them, was 2004, 20 years ago, at a small memorial gathering for Nevada, their first son, 10 weeks old when he died of SIDS in 2002. Elon blinked hard, pushed the memory down like he always did. "Thank you, Maria." He took the envelope. His name was written in Justine's handwriting. He recognized the looping E and the way she crossed her ends. She used to write him notes in college, slipping them into his textbooks at Queen's University. Maria closed the door quietly. Elon turned the envelope over in his hands. It had weight to it, not just paper, something else inside. He opened it carefully. 2 items fell onto his desk, a handwritten letter on cream stationery and a small photograph, black and white, old and faded. He picked up the letter first. October 10, 2024. "Elon, I know this will surprise you. I know we don't do this, we don't write letters, we don't call just to talk. We've become very good at being polite strangers who once loved each other. But I need to break that pattern. Right now, today, there's something I should have told you 20 years ago. Something I've carried alone for 2 decades because I thought I was protecting you. Or maybe I was protecting myself. I don't know anymore. It's time you knew. I can't explain this in a letter." I can't text it or email it or send it in any digital form that might leak or screenshot or live forever in a cloud somewhere. This needs to be face to face, person to person, the way we used to be. Please come to Toronto. As soon as you can. I know you're busy. I know you've got rocket launches and earnings calls and the weight of the world on your shoulders. I know asking you to drop everything and fly to Canada sounds insane. But Elon, I need you to trust me one more time. Come to Toronto. Meet me at the old place. You'll remember which one, please. Justin. Elon read it twice. Then a third time. What secret could Justin have kept for 20 years? His mind raced through possibilities. Another child, no, impossible, he would have known. Medical information, family crisis. Something about one of their sons, his heart hammered. Were the boys okay? Griffin, Vivian, Kai, Saxon, Damien, all teenagers now, all healthy last he checked. He grabbed his phone and pulled up the family text thread. Last message was from Saxon yesterday. Dad, can you help me with my physics homework? Everything seemed normal. He picked up the photograph that had fallen from the envelope. It showed a young couple standing outside a small cafe. The sign above them read, "The Philosopher's Bean." He recognized it immediately. The coffee shop near University of Toronto where he and Justine used to study together in 1990, where he'd first worked up the courage to ask her out after she'd rejected him twice. But the couple in the photo wasn't them. The woman looked like she could be related to him, same sharp cheekbones, same intense eyes. The man beside her was black, wearing a suit from the 1970s, his arm around her waist. Elon flipped the photo over. Written in faded ink, Cora, Daniel, and Hope for a Better Future, December 1973. Cora, he'd never heard that name in his life. He looked back at Justine's letter. Something I should have told you 20 years ago. His calendar was impossible. The Starship test flight was scheduled for next week. Tesla's board meeting on Thursday. Interview with Bloomberg on Friday. 3 product launches in various stages of crisis. But Justine had never asked him for anything like this. Not in 16 years. He picked up his phone and called his pilot. Get the plane ready. We're going to Toronto tonight. He canceled 3 meetings with a single text to Maria, grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. Behind him, the blueprint for Mars glowed on the desk, waiting like it always did for him to come back and finish saving the world. But right now, the world could wait. 20 years of silence was about to break. The Gulfstream G650 climbed through the night sky, leaving California's lights behind. Elon sat alone in the cabin, laptop open but untouched. The cursor blinked on an empty email he couldn't bring himself to write. Outside the window, darkness stretched forever. Somewhere below, the Rocky Mountains carved shadows into shadows. He picked up the photograph again, studied the faces. The woman Cora had his family's features, the sharp Haldeman bone structure, his mother May's intense gaze, but who was she? And why had Justine sent this to him? 20 years ago, the letter had said. 20 years ago was 2004. 2004 was Nevada. Elon closed his eyes and let the memories come. For once, he didn't fight them. 1989. Queen's University, Kingston, Ontario. He was 18, skinny, awkward, obsessed with physics and computers and getting to America where the real future was being built. She was 19, beautiful in a way that made him forget his own name, dark hair, sharp wit, studying literature and dreaming of writing fantasy novels. He'd seen her in the common room reading the Chronicles of Narnia for what she later told him was the 11th time. That's a children's book, he'd said, smooth, real smooth. She'd looked up with those green eyes. That's what people who don't understand magic say. He was in love by Tuesday. She rejected him, said he was too intense, too focused on his future to see the present, too much. He sent roses to her dorm, she sent them back. He waited outside her English class with coffee and a copy of The Lord of the Rings. If you like Narnia, you'll love this, he'd said. I've read it 6 times, she'd replied, but she took the coffee. They talked for 3 hours, then 6. Then they stopped counting. By winter break, they were inseparable. By graduation, they were planning a life together. January 2000. Their wedding, small ceremony, just family and close friends. Justine wore a simple white dress. Elon wore the first expensive suit he'd ever owned, bought with money from Zip2's sale. XCOM was just starting, the company that would become PayPal. Elon worked 100-hour weeks. Justine wrote during the day, waited for him at night. You're going to change the world, she'd tell him. We're going to change it together, he'd reply. For 2 years, it felt true. 2002, Nevada. Alexander Musk, their first son, born healthy, perfect, 10 fingers, 10 toes, eyes that looked like Justine's. They were exhausted and happy and terrified like all new parents. Elon took a week off work, actually unplugged, held his son and felt something shift inside him, a purpose bigger than companies or innovations. Nevada was 10 weeks old when Justine found him in his crib, not breathing, not moving, SIDS. Sudden infant death syndrome, the doctors said it happens. No one's fault, nothing anyone could have done. Elon didn't believe them, he researched for weeks, read every medical paper, looked for the cause, the reason, the thing he could have fixed if only he'd been paying attention. There was nothing. Some things can't be solved with engineering. Justine grieved openly, cried, talked about Nevada, kept his blanket. Elon buried himself in work. 18-hour days, then 20. If he stopped moving, he'd have to feel it. They never talked about the different ways they mourned. That was the first crack. 2004. IVF twins, Griffin and Xavier, born healthy. They named Xavier after Professor Xavier from X-Men, Justine's choice. A character who could read minds, bridge differences, bring people together. Elon thought it was perfect. Now Xavier was Vivian, had changed her name, legally disowned him, said she wanted nothing to do with him. Some bridges collapse no matter how carefully you build them. 2004 was also the last time he and Justine had really connected. Nevada's second birthday, the birthday he never got to celebrate. They'd gone to the cemetery, stood there holding hands, not talking, just being. "I think about him every day," Justine had whispered. "Me too," Elon had said. It was the most honest they'd been in 2 years. Then they went home, back to their separate ways of coping, back to the distance growing between them. 2006, IVF triplets, Kai, Saxon, and Damien, 3 more sons. The house filled with noise and chaos and life. Elon provided everything, money, opportunities, the best schools. But time, presence, he was building Tesla now, fighting to keep the company alive. Every day was a crisis. Justine raised 5 boys mostly alone. She never complained, just withdrew, started writing more, creating worlds she could control when her real world felt beyond her reach. 2008, divorce. Amicable, the lawyers called it, civilized. They divided assets, arranged custody, shook hands like business partners ending a contract. Elon moved on quickly, met Tallulah Riley, married her in 2010, divorced in 2012, married her again in 2013, divorced again in 2016. He joked about it in interviews. "I'm not good at relationships, I'm good at rockets." Everyone laughed. But sitting here at 40,000 feet holding a mysterious photograph in Justine's letter, Elon realized the joke had stopped being funny years ago. Justine never remarried. He'd always wondered about that. She was brilliant, beautiful, successful. Her fantasy novels had done well. She could have had anyone, but she chose to stay single. "Some connections can't be replaced, only remembered," she'd written in an interview once. He'd read it and felt something twist in his chest. The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. "Mr. Musk will be landing in Toronto in 40 minutes. Elon looked at his phone. 11:47 p.m. He had 17 unread messages, a Tesla crisis, a Twitter no X controversy, the usual fires burning. He put the phone face down. For once, the world's problems could wait. His own needed solving first. The plane descended through Canadian clouds, carrying him toward answers he wasn't sure he wanted, and toward Justine, the woman who knew him before he became Elon Musk, back when he was just Elon. The boy who sent roses and believed love could be as simple as coffee and conversation. "Meet me at the old place. You'll remember which one." He remembered. God help him, he remembered everything. Toronto looked different at night. Or maybe Elon was different. Maybe both. The car drove through streets he hadn't seen in 30 years. The city had grown up around his memories. Glass towers where old buildings used to be, modern streetlights replacing the dim yellow ones he remembered from college days. But some things stayed the same. The driver turned onto Bloor Street and Elon's chest tightened. He knew this route, had walked it 1,000 times with textbooks under his arm and Justine's hand in his. "Pull over here," Elon said. "I'll walk the rest." The driver looked uncertain. "Sir, it's almost 1 in the morning. Are you sure?" "I'm sure." Elon stepped out into the October cold. Canadian autumn bit differently than California's endless summer. Sharp, real, the kind of cold that woke you up whether you wanted it or not. He walked past the University of Toronto campus where old stone buildings stood like guardians of knowledge, past the street corner where he'd first kissed Justine after a study session that lasted until dawn, past the bookstore where she'd bought him a copy of Isaac Asimov's Foundation series for his 20th birthday. "You're going to build empires," she'd written inside the cover. "Don't forget the people in them." He still had that book, somewhere in one of his houses. 3 blocks down he saw it, the cafe. It had changed names. The old Philosopher's Bean sign was gone, replaced by a cheerful wooden placard that read, "Bean there, read that." Someone's idea of a pun. The windows were different, bigger now, and through them he could see modern furniture instead of the mismatched chairs he remembered. But it was the same building, same brick facade, same location, same corner booth visible through the window. And sitting in that booth, backlit by warm cafe lights, was Justine. Elon's hand rested on the door handle. His reflection stared back at him in the glass, older, tired, wearing a SpaceX jacket and carrying the weight of a dozen companies on his shoulders. When was the last time he'd been nervous about seeing someone? He pushed the door open. A bell chimed, actual brass bell, old-fashioned, the sound of his college years. The cafe smelled like coffee and old books. Jazz played softly from hidden speakers. Miles Davis, blue and green. Justine looked up. For a moment they just stared at each other. She'd aged, of course. Lines around her eyes that hadn't been there 20 years ago. Silver threading through her dark hair, but she was still Justine. Still the woman who told him he was too much and then loved him anyway. She wore a scarf he recognized, deep blue with gold threads. He'd given it to her for Christmas 2003. She'd kept it. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi." His voice came out rougher than intended. "You came. You asked." She smiled, but it was sad. "You usually don't when I ask." That landed like a punch. True, though. How many times had she asked him to school events to talk about the boys, to just have coffee? And he'd sent his assistant with an excuse. Too busy, too important, too afraid of the past. "Can I sit?" he asked. "I've been saving this seat for you." He slid into the booth across from her. The table was small. Their knees almost touched. A young barista approached, purple hair, nose ring, the kind of kid who probably had no idea who Elon Musk was. "Kitchen's closed, but I can get you coffee." "Black," Elon said. "Thank you." "Anything else for you, ma'am?" Justine shook her head. Her cup was already half empty, lipstick mark on the rim. The barista left. Silence settled between them like an old friend, uncomfortable but familiar. "You look tired," Justine said finally. "You look beautiful." She laughed, soft, surprised. "You don't have to do that, the charm thing, not with me." "I'm not charming. I'm terrible at charming, you know that." "I do know that." She wrapped both hands around her coffee cup. "You tried to impress me by explaining rocket propulsion on our first date. It worked, didn't it?" Eventually, her smile faded. "After you learned to talk about other things too." Elon looked around the cafe. This place used to have terrible chairs. Remember, that green one in the corner that wobbled? "You always sat in it, said it kept you alert." "I said it reminded me nothing's perfect. Everything needs adjustment." "Very engineer of you." "Very me." The barista brought his coffee. Elon wrapped his hands around the warm mug, grateful for something to hold. "Why did you send that photograph?" he asked. "Who's Cora?" Justine's expression shifted. The lightness disappeared. She reached into her bag and pulled out a folder, plain manila, worn at the edges. "Before I answer that," she said, "I need to know something. Are you here because you're curious, or are you here because you trust me?" "What's the difference?" "Curious means you'll listen for 5 minutes, get bored, and fly back to save the world. Trust means you'll stay, even when it's hard, even when it disrupts your schedule and your plans and your careful control over everything." Elon stared at her. "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" Her voice was gentle, not accusing, just honest. "Elon, I've known you for 35 years. I married you, had children with you, lost a child with you. I know exactly what you do when things get emotionally complicated." "What do I do?" "You leave, not physically always, but you go somewhere in your head where problems can be solved with logic and work, where grief doesn't exist because efficiency does." He wanted to argue, couldn't. She was right. "I'm trying to be different," he said quietly. "I know, that's why I sent the letter." She pushed the folder toward him. "That's why I'm trusting you with this." Elon opened it. Inside were more photographs, documents. A birth certificate dated 1946 for someone named Cora Haldeman. Haldeman, his mother's maiden name. Medical records from a Toronto hospital dated 6 months ago. A private investigator's report with a Toronto address highlighted in yellow. And a handwritten note in unfamiliar writing. Please find my nephew. Tell him his Aunt Cora wants to meet him before it's too late. Elon looked up, confused. My mother doesn't have a sister. She does, Justine said. They haven't spoken in 50 years. The cafe suddenly felt too small, too warm, the jazz too loud, the world tilting on an axis Elon didn't know existed. What? I need to show you something, Justine interrupted. Someone, it's a 30-minute drive from here. She stood, leaving money on the table for the coffee. Will you come? Every instinct screamed at him to demand answers now, to control the situation, to know what he was walking into. But he looked at Justine, really looked at her, saw the nervous hope in her eyes, the way her hands trembled slightly, the courage it took to orchestrate whatever this was. She was trusting him with something important. The least he could do was trust her back. Okay, he said, let's go. They walked out together into the cold Toronto night. Behind them, the cafe lights glowed warm and safe. Ahead, in Justine's modest sedan parked at the curb, lay answers to questions Elon didn't even know to ask. The car door closed with a soft click. The engine started, and they drove into the darkness toward a truth 20 years in the making. Justine's car smelled like coffee and old books. The back seat was covered with papers, manuscripts, empty water bottles. A writer's car, lived in, real. So different from Elon's world of private jets and Tesla's minimalist interiors. They drove north through empty Toronto streets, past sleeping houses and closed shops. The city thinned out, giving way to suburbs, then darker spaces between streetlights. Elon watched the road. You're being very mysterious. I'm being very careful. Justine kept her eyes forward. Some things can't be rushed. Some truths need context. I'm good with just the truth. She glanced at him. Are you? Because in my experience, Elon Musk likes data, facts, and conclusions. He's not great with the messy middle parts. That's not fair. It's completely fair. But her voice was soft, not cruel. You married me, divorced me, and moved on to Tallulah in less than 2 years. You don't do messy middles. You do clean breaks and forward momentum. Elon was quiet. She wasn't wrong. They passed a sign, Markham 15 km. Tell me about your writing, he said, changing the subject. I saw your third novel hit the bestseller list, dark fantasy. Critics loved it. Justine smiled slightly. You checked. I always check. Just because we're not married doesn't mean I stopped caring. You're right, you just stopped showing it, she sighed. Sorry, that was harsh, I'm nervous. About what? About whether this will help you or hurt you, about whether I'm doing the right thing. Her hands tightened on the steering wheel. I've been planning this for 6 months, ever since Cora reached out to me. How did she find you? Private investigator. She knew I lived in Toronto, knew I was your ex-wife. She was too afraid to contact your mother directly, so she found me instead. Elon processed this. Why was she afraid of my mother? That's part of the story. Justine turned onto a smaller road. Houses spread further apart here. The story I'm taking you to hear. They drove in silence for a while. The heater hummed. Outside, October trees stripped of leaves reached toward the sky like skeletal hands. How are the boys? Justine asked. Good, growing up too fast. Elon pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. Saxon sent this yesterday, his robotics project. Justine studied the screen. He has your eyes, all of them do. Griffin has your writing talent. He keeps a journal, won't let anyone read it. Smart kid. Kai wants to be a chef, not an engineer, not a businessman, a chef. Justine laughed. Does that bother you? It should, right? I'm Elon Musk. My son wants to make pasta instead of rockets. He paused. But actually, I think it's great. He found something he loves that has nothing to do with me. That's growth, Justine said quietly. And Damien draws all the time. Superheroes, landscapes, portraits, he's really good. You sound proud. I am proud, I just don't know how to show them that. Elon put his phone away. I don't know how to be there the way they need me to be there. Justine was quiet for a moment. Do you talk to Vivian? The name hung in the air like smoke. "No," Elon said. "She made it clear she doesn't want contact. She's 20 now, still figuring out who she is. She figured out she doesn't want to be a Musk, legally changed her name, said she wants nothing to do with me." His voice was flat, but pain leaked through. "I failed her, Justine. I don't know how, but I did." "You didn't fail her, you were so focused on being Elon Musk that you forgot to be dad." Justine glanced at him. "She needed you to listen, to accept her as she was, not as you hoped she'd be." "I tried." "You tried to fix her, like a problem, like a design flaw." Justine's voice was gentle. "Some things can't be fixed, Elon. Some things just need to be loved." The words hit like a hammer. Nevada, he tried to fix that too, researched SIDS until his eyes burned, looked for the solution, the answer, the thing he missed, but Nevada was gone, and no amount of engineering could bring him back. "Is that why we failed?" Elon asked. "Because I tried to fix instead of feel." Justine pulled into a parking lot. A sign read, "Maple Sunset Residence Assisted Living Community." She turned off the engine, sat there in the sudden quiet. "We failed because we stopped talking," she said finally. "After Nevada died, we each went into our own worlds. You worked, I wrote. We orbited each other like distant planets, close enough to see, too far to touch. I didn't know how to talk about it." "I know, neither did I, not in a way you could hear." She looked at him. "But I'm trying now, that's why we're here." Elon stared at the building. Modern, clean, warm lights in windows, a place where people went when time was running out. "Cora's in there." "She's in there. And she's my mother's sister." "Yes." "Why didn't my mom ever mention her?" "Because sometimes families break in ways that seem impossible to repair. Sometimes the distance between two people gets so wide that crossing it feels scarier than staying apart." Justine unbuckled her seatbelt. "Your mother and Cora haven't spoken since 1974, 50 years ago." Elon did the math. "That's when my grandfather died, Joshua Haldeman, the plane crash." "Yes." "What does his death have to do with them not speaking?" Justine opened her car door. Cold air rushed in. "Everything. It has everything to do with it, and with you, and with why I'm showing you this." She got out. Elon sat there for a moment, staring at the building. Inside those walls was a woman he'd never met, a family member erased from history, a secret his mother had kept for half a century, and somehow Justine thought meeting this woman would change something for him. He got out of the car. They walked toward the entrance together, footsteps echoing on the pavement. The automatic doors slid open with a soft whisper. The lobby was quiet. Night shift. A security guard nodded at Justine. She'd been here before, expected. She'd planned this, all of it. "Room 237, Justine said. "Second floor." They took the elevator, neither spoke. The numbers lit up, 1-2. The doors opened. Long hallway, soft lighting, the smell of lavender and cleaning solution. Quiet voices behind closed doors, lives ending slowly, one day at a time. Justine led him to a door marked 237. She knocked, gentle, 3 soft taps. "Come in," a voice called, weak but clear, Canadian accent like his mother's. Justine looked at Elon. "Ready?" He wasn't, but he nodded anyway. She opened the door. Inside, sitting in a wheelchair by the window, backlit by moonlight, was an elderly woman. Silver hair, thin frame, eyes that tracked them as they entered. Eyes exactly like Elon's, like his mother's, like looking at May Musk 50 years from now. The woman's hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God, you came. You actually came." Elon stood frozen in the doorway. Justine touched his arm gently. "Elon, this is Cora Haldeman, your aunt, your mother's sister." Cora's eyes filled with tears. "You look just like Joshua, like my father, like my sister, like all of us." She reached out a trembling hand. "I've wanted to meet you for so long." "I didn't know you existed," Elon said. "I know, that's my fault. That's May's fault. That's all of our faults." Cora wiped her eyes. "We let pride and pain destroy something precious. We let 50 years pass in silence." A man stepped forward from the corner. Elon hadn't noticed him before. Elderly, black, distinguished in a simple cardigan. He stood beside Cora's wheelchair protectively. "And this," Justine said softly, "is Daniel Mulv." Daniel nodded. "Mr. Musk, thank you for coming." Elon looked between them. "Cora, Daniel, their obvious connection. The way Daniel's hand rested on Cora's shoulder, the way she leaned into his presence. "I don't understand," Elon said, "any of this." Cora smiled sadly. "Sit down, nephew, please. I'll explain everything, but I need to start at the beginning. In 1973, in South Africa, when your mother and I were still sisters." Elon sat and Cora began to speak. Cora's room was small but comfortable. A bed by the wall, a dresser with photographs, a window overlooking the parking lot where Justine's car sat under a streetlight. Daniel pulled up 2 chairs for Elon and Justine. Then he returned to Cora's side, standing like a guardian. Cora took a shaky breath. "How much do you know about your grandfather Joshua?" Elon thought back. He was a chiropractor, moved the family from Canada to South Africa in 1950, adventurer, searched for the lost city of the Kalahari Desert, died in a plane crash in 1974. "That's the legend," Cora said. "The story May tells the heroic version." She smiled sadly. "It's not wrong, but it's not complete." She gestured to the dresser. "Daniel, would you bring me the box?" Daniel retrieved a wooden box, dark with age. He placed it carefully in Cora's lap. She opened it slowly. Inside were photographs, letters, and a leather journal with worn edges. "Your grandmother Almeda kept a journal," Cora said. "She gave it to me shortly before she died, said I'd understand it someday, said May wouldn't." She pulled out the journal. "I've read it 100 times. It tells a different story than the one we grew up with." Elon leaned forward. "What story?" "The story of a woman who followed her husband's dreams and lost her own." Cora opened the journal to a marked page. "May I read you something?" Elon nodded. Cora's voice trembled as she read. "June 1951. We've been in Pretoria for 1 year now. Joshua is energized by Africa. He says it's a land of opportunity, of adventure. The children love it, especially May. She has her father's spirit, but I miss Canada. I miss my friends, my home, the life I knew. Joshua doesn't understand. He says I'm not adventurous enough, that I hold him back. I don't know how to tell him that following someone else's adventure isn't the same as having your own." The words hung in the quiet room. Cora looked up. "Your grandmother was brilliant. She could have been a doctor, had the grades, the intelligence. But in the 1940s, women didn't become doctors. They became wives." She turned pages. "Listen to this. December 1960. Joshua is planning another expedition to find the lost city. He'll be gone for months. May, 12 years old now, begs to go with him. Cora, 15, begs to stay home. Joshua takes May, says she has the spirit of an explorer. He leaves Cora with me, says she's too sensitive, too emotional for adventure. What he means is, Cora asks too many questions. Cora wants to talk about feelings. Cora doesn't worship at the altar of constant motion." May and Joshua return from expeditions with stories and smiles. Cora and I stay home with silence and each other. Cora closed the journal. "Your mother was the favorite, the chosen one. She had Joshua's drive, his fearlessness, his refusal to slow down." "And you?" Elon asked quietly. "I was like Almeda, thoughtful, feeling. I wanted stability, connection, depth." Cora smiled. "Not very Haldeman of me." Daniel's hand squeezed her shoulder. "When Joshua died in that plane crash in March 1974, Cora continued, May grieved the loss of a hero, a legend, the man who taught her to be fearless. And you?" "I grieved the loss of a father who was never really there, who valued movement over presence, who died chasing a dream in the desert instead of being home with his family." Cora's eyes met Elon's. "Do you understand what I'm telling you?" Elon felt something cold settle in his chest. "You're saying I'm like him." "I'm saying the Haldeman men and women have a pattern. Build empires, chase dreams, change the world, but sometimes forget the people standing right beside them." Justine spoke for the first time. "That's why I brought you here, not to blame you, but to show you the pattern before it's too late." "Too late for what?" Elon asked. "Too late to choose differently," Cora said, "to break the cycle." She pulled out a photograph from the box, black and white, faded. This was taken in December 1973, 3 months before Joshua died. "Look." Elon took it, the same photo Justine had sent him, Cora young and beautiful, and beside her a black man in a suit, his arm around her waist. Behind them, a building he didn't recognize. "That's Daniel," Cora said. "We took this picture outside the engineering firm where he worked in Pretoria." Elon looked at Daniel. "You're from South Africa." Daniel nodded. "Born in Soweto, 1943, grew up under apartheid." His accent was soft, cultured. "I was lucky, got an education, became an engineer, but luck only goes so far when your skin is the wrong color." Cora reached for Daniel's hand. He took it, their fingers intertwining with the ease of old habit. "I met Daniel in 1972, Cora said, "at a lecture on bridge design. I was studying architecture at the university. He was the guest speaker. Brilliant, funny, kind." Her eyes softened with memory. "We started talking, then meeting for coffee, then falling in love." "In 1972 South Africa," Elon said slowly, understanding dawning. "Under the Immorality Act," Daniel finished, "which made relationships between white and black people illegal, punishable by prison." "We hid it," Cora said. "For a year and a half, secret meetings, coded letters, we were careful." "What happened?" Cora's expression darkened. "Joshua found out. January 1974. Someone saw us together and told him." She looked down at their joined hands. "My father was many things, progressive in some ways. He hated apartheid's politics, spoke against it publicly. But when it came to his daughter," Daniel said quietly, "when it was his family, he couldn't handle it." "He forbade me from seeing Daniel," Cora said. "Said it was too dangerous, that we'd be arrested, that I'd ruin the family name, that Daniel would lose everything." "He wasn't completely wrong," Daniel admitted. "The risks were real. I could have been imprisoned, lost my job, worse." "But he wasn't worried about us," Cora said bitterly. "He was worried about his reputation, his standing, his adventures being funded by people who wouldn't approve." Elon felt sick. "What did you do?" "We planned to leave," Cora said. "Run away to Canada, get married there, start over." "And then?" "Then Joshua died," Cora's voice broke. "March 18, 1974. His plane went down in the Kalahari, searching for his lost city. He was 52 years old." She wiped her eyes. "The family blamed me, said the stress of my disgrace distracted him, said if he'd been focused, he wouldn't have crashed." "That's insane," Elon said. "Grief makes people insane." Cora looked at him meaningfully. "You know that." Nevada, the blame he'd carried, the what-ifs that haunted him. May sided with Joshua's memory, Cora continued. She worshipped him, couldn't accept that he was flawed, that he'd failed us in some ways even while succeeding in others. "She chose his legend over you," Justine said softly. "She chose the hero story, I chose the truth. And those two things couldn't exist in the same family." Cora's hand shook. "We fought. Terrible things were said. She called me selfish, said I destroyed our father. I called her blind, said she was too much like him to see what he'd done to Almeda, to me." "And then?" Elon asked. "Then I left, moved to Canada alone, never contacted the family again. 50 years of silence." "What about Daniel?" Daniel and Cora exchanged a look profound, sad, full of decades of loss. "We lost touch," Daniel said. "The chaos after Joshua's death, Cora leaving suddenly. No email, no cell phones, just addresses that changed and letters that never arrived." "I tried to find him," Cora whispered. "For years, private investigators, nothing. Apartheid kept records scattered. People disappeared into the system." "I tried to find her," Daniel said. "But she'd moved to Canada, changed her name slightly, became Cora Wilson instead of Haldeman, started over." 50 years, Cora said. 50 years apart, because of pride and politics and a system designed to keep people like us separated." The room was silent except for the hum of the heating vent. Elon stared at them, two people in their late 70s, a lifetime lost. "How did you find each other?" he asked. Cora smiled through tears. "I got sick. 6 months ago, terminal heart failure. Doctors gave me maybe a year." "When you're dying," Daniel said, "you stop caring about pride." "I hired a private investigator," Cora said. "Found May's children, found you, found Justine living in Toronto." She looked at Justine. "I reached out to her, told her my story, asked if she'd help me find Daniel." Justine spoke. I hired my own investigator, found Daniel in Cape Town, still there, never married. Daniel smiled sadly. Never found anyone else, never stopped hoping. And here we are, Cora said, 50 years later, meeting again, but only because I'm dying. She looked at Elon directly. Do you understand now why I asked you here, why Justine brought you? Elon's throat was tight. You're showing me what happens when you let time slip away. I'm showing you what happens when you choose dreams over people, when you let pride create distance, when you wait too long to say what matters. Cora reached out. Elon took her hand. It was thin, fragile, but her grip was strong. You're brilliant, Elon, like Joshua, like May. You're changing the world. She pulled him closer. But don't make his mistakes. Don't make mine. Don't let 50 years pass before you tell the people you love that they matter more than Mars. A tear rolled down Elon's cheek. He couldn't remember the last time he'd cried. Cora smiled. There's one more thing I need to show you. Something that will shock you even more than finding out I exist. She reached into the box and pulled out one final item, a small velvet pouch tied with string. Before I show you this, she said, I need to ask, are you ready to see your mother, to help heal this 50-year wound? Elon looked at Justine. She nodded encouragement. He looked at Cora and Daniel, proof that love could survive anything except silence. Yes, he said, I'm ready. Cora opened the pouch. Inside the velvet pouch was a ring, simple gold band, old, worn smooth by decades of wear, and inside, engraved in tiny letters, J and A, Forever Dancing 1946. Joshua and Almeda's wedding ring, Cora said. My mother's. She gave it to me the day before she died, 2 weeks after Joshua's plane crash. Elon held it carefully. The gold caught the lamplight. She was barely 52, Cora continued. Healthy 1 month, dead the next. The doctors said heart attack, but I knew better. She died of a broken heart, Daniel said quietly. She died of exhaustion, Cora corrected. From spending 30 years following someone else's dream. From making herself smaller so Joshua could be bigger. From swallowing her own voice so his could echo. She took the ring back, held it like a prayer. When she gave this to me, she made me promise something. What? That I wouldn't do what she did. That I'd choose love that saw me, not love that needed me to disappear. Cora looked at Daniel. I tried to keep that promise. I chose Daniel. I chose real love over acceptable love. But the world wouldn't let you have it, Justine said. The world made it illegal. My family made it impossible, and I ran instead of fighting. Cora's voice cracked. I chose safety over love. I ran to Canada alone instead of fighting for us. Daniel shook his head. You survived, that's what mattered. But we lost 50 years. We did. Daniel knelt beside her wheelchair despite his age. His knees cracked, but he didn't care. But I don't blame you, Cora, I never have. They looked at each other with an intimacy that made Elon feel like he was intruding on something sacred. Cora touched Daniel's face. I thought about you every single day. I wrote you letters, one every month, even though I didn't know where to send them. You kept them. Every single one. 604 letters across 50 years. Cora's tears flowed freely now. I kept a journal, wrote to you like you could hear me, imagined conversations we'd have if the world was different. Elon watched them and felt something break open inside his chest. This was love, real love, the kind that survived apartheid and oceans and 50 years of silence, the kind that didn't need constant contact to remain true. Cora wiped her eyes and turned back to Elon. But the ring isn't the shocking part. She reached into the box again and pulled out Almeda's journal, turned to the final entry. Read this. The last thing your grandmother wrote, March 16, 1974, 2 days before Joshua died. Elon took the journal. The handwriting was shaky, emotional. He read aloud. March 16, 1974. Joshua leaves tomorrow for another expedition. The lost city, always the lost city. He says this time will be different. This time he'll find it. May is going with him. She always does. She worships her father, sees only his strength, his vision, his courage. She doesn't see what I see, what Cora sees. She doesn't see that chasing lost cities means abandoning found ones. That searching for ancient civilizations means missing the one you're building at home. Tonight, Joshua came to bed excited, talking about the flight path, the coordinates, the glory of discovery. I asked him, "What if you don't find it? What if the lost city doesn't exist?" He said, "Then I'll die trying. Better to die chasing something great than live accepting something small." I said, "What if our family is the great thing? What if being here, being present, being a husband and father, what if that's the real achievement?" He looked at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. Then he kissed my forehead and said, "You don't understand. You never have. That's not your fault. Some people are meant to change the world. Others are meant to watch it happen." I realized then that in 30 years of marriage, he's never truly seen me. I've been the woman behind the great man, the support system, the invisible foundation that let him soar, but I had dreams too. Once, before I became Mrs. Joshua Haldeman, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to heal people. Instead, I healed his ego, raised his children, managed his life so he could chase his dreams. And now it's too late. I'm 52. My dreams are dust. Cora understands this. That's why she ran. That's why I gave her my ring. May doesn't understand. She's too much like Joshua. She'll make the same mistakes, chase the same impossible things, leave the same wreckage behind. I love them both. My daughters, so different, both right in their own ways, both wrong too, but they can't live in the same world anymore. Cora sees the costs. May sees only the glory. Tomorrow Joshua flies into the desert, and I feel deep in my bones that everything is about to change. Elon finished reading. His hands shook. The room was silent. "She knew," he whispered. "She knew he was going to die." "No," Cora said. "She knew the way they were living couldn't last, that something had to break." She took the journal back. 2 days later, Joshua crashed. May was supposed to be on that flight, but she got sick that morning, flew, so Joshua went alone. "If she'd been on the plane," Elon couldn't finish. "I wouldn't exist," Justine said. "You wouldn't exist. Your children wouldn't exist." "A coin flip," Daniel said. "History turning on chance and a stomach bug." Cora continued. "After Joshua died, Almeda gave me this journal, said I needed to understand that the pattern didn't start with us. It started generations back. Men and women who valued achievement over presence, who built empires but lost families." She looked at Elon intently. "Your grandfather died chasing a lost city, never found it, never came home. Your grandmother died 2 weeks later, her dreams buried beneath his. Your mother celebrated Joshua's adventurous spirit. I mourned a father who was never fully there. And we stopped speaking because we couldn't reconcile those two truths." Elon felt dizzy. The parallels were too perfect, too painful. "I've been chasing Mars," he said quietly. "My lost city." "Yes," Cora said. "I've been so focused on getting there that I've forgotten who I'm leaving behind." "Yes. Nevada died 22 years ago, and I never properly grieved because I was too busy building Tesla." Justine's hand found his, squeezed. "Vivian changed her name and disowned me because I was too busy being Elon Musk to be her father." "Yes," Cora said gently. "You've been repeating the pattern." "And Justine," Elon looked at her, "you saw it, that's why you brought me here." "I saw you becoming Joshua," Justine said. "Brilliant, visionary, absent. I saw our sons growing up with a legend instead of a father." "Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried, you didn't hear me. You were too busy changing the world." Elon stood up abruptly, paced to the window, looked out at the parking lot, the streetlights, the ordinary Canadian night. Behind him, his aunt was dying, 50 years lost to pride and silence. Beside him, his ex-wife had orchestrated this entire intervention because she still cared enough to try to save him from himself. "I don't know how to be different," he said to the window. "This is who I am. This is how I'm built. Dreams and drive and constant forward motion." "You don't have to change who you are," Cora said. "You just have to add one more thing to your mission parameters." He turned around. "What?" "Presence, being there. Not just financially or theoretically, but actually physically, emotionally present." Daniel spoke up. "I spent 50 years building bridges in South Africa. Good work, important work, helped my country heal after apartheid. But every bridge I built reminded me of the one I never crossed. The distance between Cape Town and Toronto, between my life and Cora's. I would trade every bridge I ever built for one more day with her when we were young." He looked at Cora with such profound love that Elon had to look away. "You can build rockets and be a father," Cora said. "You can change the world and show up for dinner. You can chase Mars and still be present on Earth." Joshua couldn't do both. Then be better than Joshua. Break the pattern, choose differently. Elon sat back down, exhausted, raw, more vulnerable than he'd been in decades. "How?" he asked simply. "How do I fix this?" Cora smiled. "You start by calling your mother. Tell her you found me. Ask her to come to Toronto." "She won't come." 50 years of silence. "She'll come if you ask her to. She'll come for you." Cora's eyes were knowing. "May loves you, Elon. She's proud of you. But she also sees Joshua in you. And I think deep down she's afraid you'll end the same way he did. Brilliant and alone in the desert, searching for something that doesn't exist." "The lost city was a myth," Elon said. "No," Daniel corrected. "The lost city was a metaphor for the thing we chase because we're afraid to face what we already have." Justine spoke. "Elon, you've achieved more than most people dream of. Tesla, SpaceX changing entire industries. But what have you lost along the way?" He knew the answer, had known it for years but never admitted it. "Everything that matters," he whispered. "Not everything," Cora said. "Not yet. You still have time. Your children are alive. Your mother is alive. I'm alive for a few more months." She reached out. Elon took her hand. "Help me heal this," she said. "Help me see my sister one more time before I die. And in doing that, maybe you'll learn how to heal your own wounds too." Elon pulled out his phone, stared at his mother's contact, May Musk, 76 years old, model, nutritionist, his mother, who raised 3 children alone after divorcing his father, who worked multiple jobs to support them, who was brilliant and strong and yes, driven like Joshua. Would she come after 50 years? He pressed call. It rang once, twice. "Elon," his mother's voice, surprised. "It's 2 in the morning. Are you all right?" "Mom," he said, "I'm in Toronto. I found Aunt Cora." Silence, long, terrible silence. Then quietly, "Cora's alive." "She's alive, she's dying, and she wants to see you." More silence. He could hear his mother breathing on the other end, processing, feeling. "Elon, I don't know if I can." "Mom, please. Whatever happened 50 years ago, whatever was said, it's time." "Time for what?" "Time to stop being Joshua's daughters and start being sisters again." He heard her breath catch, then a soft sound. His mother crying. "I'll get on a plane tomorrow," she said. 24 hours later, Elon stood in the Toronto airport arrivals area, holding a sign that read May Musk like he was a regular person picking up a relative. Security guards hovered nearby. People stared. Some took pictures, but Elon ignored them all. His mother emerged through the automatic doors wearing an elegant coat and sunglasses, pulling a small suitcase. At 76, she still moved like a model, graceful, confident, commanding attention without trying. But when she saw Elon, the confidence cracked. She stopped walking, just stared at him. "Hi, Mom," he said. May removed her sunglasses. Her eyes were red. She hadn't slept. "Is she really here after all these years?" "She's really here." May's hand went to her throat. "I don't know if I can do this." Elon walked to her, put his hands on her shoulders. "You can, and you will because you're brave. You've always been brave." "I was terrible to her, Elon. I said unforgivable things." "She said unforgivable things too. That's what people do when they're grieving and scared." He picked up her suitcase. "Come on, Justine's waiting in the car." "Justine?" May looked surprised. "You're Justine." "She orchestrated this whole thing. Found Cora, brought me here. She's a good person, Mom." May studied his face. "You still love her." "I never stopped. I just forgot how to show it." He started walking. "But we're learning, both of us, how to be friends instead of strangers." They walked through the airport in silence. Outside, autumn wind cut through the parking garage. Justine's car was waiting, engine running. Justine got out when she saw them. "Mrs. Musk, thank you for coming." "Ms. Wilson," May's voice was formal, careful. "Or is it still Mrs. Musk?" "Just Justine is fine." She opened the back door. "We have about 30 minutes. Cora's expecting us at 3. They drove through Toronto's afternoon traffic. May sat in back with Elon, staring out the window at the city she'd lived in as a young woman before Joshua moved them all to South Africa. I was born in Saskatchewan, she said quietly. But we moved to Toronto when I was 8, lived here until I was 16. Then father decided we needed more adventure, took us to Pretoria. Did you want to go? Elon asked. May was quiet for a long time. I don't think he ever asked. Father decided and we followed, that's how it was. Did that bother you? It bothered Cora. She hated leaving, had friends here, a life. She cried for weeks. May's voice was distant, remembering. I was excited. New country, new adventures. I thought she was weak for wanting to stay. But she wasn't weak, Justine said from the front seat. She just wanted different things. I know that now, I didn't know it then. May turned to Elon. Tell me about her, what's she like? She's quiet, thoughtful. She worked as a librarian for 40 years, never married. May flinched, never married, why? Elon exchanged a glance with Justine. She was in love, with someone father didn't approve of, someone she couldn't have. Who? You'll meet him today. His name is Daniel. They pulled into Maple Sunset Residence. May stared at the building like it was a mountain she had to climb. I'm scared, she admitted. I know, Elon said, but she's scared too, and she's running out of time to be scared. They walked inside. The same lobby, same elevator, same hallway. But this time everything felt different, heavier, more real. Room 237. Elon knocked 3 soft taps. Come in, Cora's voice called. Elon opened the door, stepped inside first. May followed, then stopped just inside the threshold. Cora sat in her wheelchair by the window, afternoon light making her silver hair glow like a halo. She looked smaller than 2 days ago, frailer. Time was accelerating. Daniel stood beside her as always. Cora looked up, saw May. 50 years collapsed into a single moment. They stared at each other, 2 sisters, 2 women who'd once shared everything, parents, childhood, secrets, dreams, who'd been torn apart by grief and pride and stubbornness. You look exactly the same, Cora whispered. You look exactly different, May replied. I got old. We both got old. May took a tentative step forward. I'm sorry I let 50 years pass. I'm sorry I left without saying goodbye. I'm sorry I made you feel like you had to leave. I'm sorry I blamed you for father's death. That wasn't fair. May's face crumpled. I blamed you too. I was wrong. He crashed because he was reckless, because he always was, not because you fell in love. Cora wheeled herself forward. May walked to meet her. They met in the middle of the room. May knelt down, ignoring her expensive coat on the floor. She took Cora's hands. They were the same hands, long fingers, prominent knuckles, the Haldeman hands. I missed you, May said, tears streaming. Every single day for 50 years I missed my sister. I missed you too. Cora pulled May close. They held each other, crying, 2 old women becoming young girls again in each other's arms. Elon looked away, giving them privacy. He saw Justine wiping her eyes. Even Daniel looked emotional. After a long time, May pulled back. Introduce me, please. Cora smiled. May, this is Daniel Mulf, the man I've loved since 1972. Daniel stepped forward, extending his hand. Mrs. Musk, it's an honor. May shook his hand, studying his face. You're the reason she left. I'm the reason she wanted to stay, Daniel corrected gently. But the world we lived in made that impossible. May looked between them, understanding dawned. The immorality act, you couldn't be together. No. And father found out. Yes. May closed her eyes. What did he do? He told me to end it, Cora said. Said it was too dangerous, that Daniel would be arrested, that I'd destroy the family. He wasn't wrong about the danger, Daniel said. Mixed relationships were illegal. We could have both gone to prison. But he wasn't worried about you, Cora said. He was worried about his reputation. May nodded slowly. That sounds like father, progressive in theory, traditional when it mattered. She sat down in one of the chairs, looked exhausted. I worshipped him. Did Elon tell you? He did. I saw him as a hero, an adventurer, a man who refused to accept the world as it was and instead created his own. May's voice was soft. I spent my whole life trying to be like him. I know, Cora said, and you spent your whole life trying not to be. Yes. We were both right and both wrong. May looked at her sister. He was a great man who did terrible things, a visionary who couldn't see what was right in front of him. Mother knew, Cora said. She understood. That's why she gave me her journal. May I see it? Cora nodded to Daniel, who retrieved the leather journal and handed it to May. May opened it, read silently. Her expression shifted: surprise, recognition, pain, understanding. She read for 10 minutes. No one spoke. Finally, she closed the journal. I never knew Mother felt this way. She hid it from Father, from you, maybe from herself. She loved him, May said. She did, but love doesn't mean someone sees you. Sometimes love means you make yourself invisible so they can shine brighter. May looked at Elon. Is that what I taught you, to sacrifice everything for achievement? Elon shifted uncomfortably. You taught me to be strong, independent, to never give up. But did I teach you to be present, to connect, to choose people over progress? He was quiet. I didn't, May said, because I didn't know how. I was too busy being Joshua's daughter. She turned back to Cora. You were smarter than me. You saw the cost. I saw it, but I ran from it instead of fighting. Cora gestured to Daniel. I let 50 years pass. That wasn't smart. That was cowardly. No, Daniel said firmly. That was surviving. You did what you had to do. We both did what we had to do, May said to Cora. And we both paid a price. You lost love. I lost my sister. Can we have it back? Cora asked. Even just for a little while. May smiled through tears. I'm here now, for however long you need me. I'm dying, May. Heart failure. Maybe 6 months if I'm lucky. May's hand went to her mouth. No. Yes, but Daniel found me again. You found me again. Elon found me. Cora looked around the room at her family. I'm dying, but I'm not alone anymore. That's more than I hoped for. May stood up, walked to the window, stared out at nothing. Her shoulders shook. Elon went to her, put his arm around her. Mom. I wasted 50 years being angry at her, May whispered. 50 years I could have had my sister. You have her now. For 6 months, maybe less. Then make those 6 months count for 50 years. May turned to him, really looked at him. When did you become wise? About 2 days ago. I'm still learning. She touched his face. You look tired. I am tired. Tired of running, tired of building things and losing people, tired of being Joshua. You're not Joshua. I'm exactly Joshua, chasing Mars like he chased the lost city, building rockets instead of being home, making the same mistakes. May was quiet. Then, yes, you are like him, but you're also like me. And I'm learning finally that being like Joshua isn't the only way to be great. She looked at Justine, who'd been sitting quietly in the corner. You knew this, didn't you? That's why you brought him here. Justine nodded. I love your son, Mrs. Musk, not romantically anymore, but deeply. And I couldn't watch him destroy himself the way Joshua did, the way we almost let Cora and Daniel do. Thank you, May said simply, for caring when I should have been paying attention. She walked back to Cora, sat down beside her wheelchair, took her hand. Tell me everything, May said. Tell me about the last 50 years, every detail, every story. I want to know who my sister became. Cora smiled. Only if you tell me yours. Deal. For the next 3 hours, they talked. Cora spoke about her life in Toronto, her work as a librarian, her love of books, her quiet contentment, her loneliness, her regrets. May spoke about her modeling career, raising 3 children alone after divorcing Errol, the pride she took in Elon, Kimball, and Tosca. Her own loneliness masked by success, her own regrets. They laughed, they cried. They argued about small things, whether their mother made better apple pie or peach cobbler, whether Toronto or New York was a better city, whether their father was brave or reckless. But they agreed on the important things. They'd both missed each other. They'd both been stubborn. They'd both let pride steal decades from them. Daniel shared his story too, growing up in Soweto, fighting apartheid through education and engineering, building bridges, literal and metaphorical, across South Africa's racial divides. Never forgetting the woman he loved in 1972, Elon listened to all of it, watched his mother and aunt rebuild 50 years of connection in a single afternoon, and he thought about his own children, Griffin, Vivian, Kai, Saxon, Damien. When was the last time he'd sat with each of them for 3 hours and just talked, really talked? When was the last time he'd asked about their dreams instead of telling them about his? His phone buzzed. 17 messages. Tesla crisis. SpaceX emergency. X controversy. He turned the phone off. The world could wait. At sunset, a nurse knocked gently. I'm sorry, but visiting hours are ending soon. No one wanted to leave. May stood reluctantly. I'm staying in Toronto for as long as you need me. You have work. Work will be there, you won't. May's voice was firm. I'm not losing you again. Cora smiled. Thank you. They embraced once more. Longer this time. Sisters again, finally. As they prepared to leave, Cora called out, Elon. He turned. You asked me 2 days ago what shocked you about visiting Justine after 20 years. Have you figured out the answer yet? Elon looked around the room. At Cora and Daniel, love that survived 50 years of separation. At his mother, learning to value presence over achievement. At Justine, who'd orchestrated this whole intervention because she still cared. Yes, he said. I found out that the most important things we do have nothing to do with achievements. That love can survive anything except silence. That family is worth fighting for, even when it's hard. Cora nodded. Good, you're learning. Now go apply those lessons before it's too late. They left, walking out into the cool October evening. In the car, May said, Take me to a hotel near here. I want to visit her every day. You can stay at my place, Justine offered. I have a guest room. May looked surprised. You do that. You're Elon's mother, Cora's sister, and right now we're all family. Elon sat in the back seat watching two women who had every reason to be strangers choosing to be something more. His phone was still off. Mars could wait. The rockets could wait. For the first time in 20 years, Elon Musk was exactly where he needed to be, present. The next morning, Elon woke up in Justine's guest room. For a moment, he didn't know where he was. The ceiling was unfamiliar. The sounds were wrong, Toronto traffic instead of California highways. Birds he didn't recognize. Then he remembered. Cora, Daniel, his mother reconciling with her sister after 50 years. He checked his phone. 6:47 a.m., 43 unread messages. His assistant had sent increasingly worried emails. Tesla's stock had dropped 2 points. Someone at X had made a controversial policy decision without consulting him. The old Elon would have been on a plane already, fixing everything, controlling everything. The new Elon, this version learning to be present, put the phone down. He heard voices downstairs. Quiet conversation, the smell of coffee. He dressed and went down. Justine and May sat at the kitchen table speaking in low tones. They stopped when they saw him. Morning, Justine said. Coffee. Please. She poured him a cup. He sat down across from his mother, who looked like she hadn't slept. You okay, Mom? I kept thinking about what Cora said yesterday, about Mother's journal, about the patterns we repeat. May wrapped her hands around her mug. I need to tell you something about Nevada. Elon's chest tightened. Mom. Let me say this, please. She took a breath. After Nevada died, I told you to be strong, to keep working, to not let grief consume you. I remember. I said those things because that's what Joshua would have said. That's what I believed strength looked like, pushing through, never stopping, conquering pain with productivity. Elon was quiet, but Justine told me something last night, May continued. She told me about the doctors, about the missed signs before Nevada died. Elon looked at Justine. You told her. She needed to know, Justine said gently. We all needed to stop carrying secrets. May reached across the table, took Elon's hand. I'm so sorry. I should have told you it was okay to grieve, to stop, to feel. Instead, I reinforced the Joshua pattern, achieve through the pain, build through the loss. You were grieving too, Elon said. I was, but I grieved alone in private, and I taught you to do the same. Her eyes filled with tears. I taught you that showing up meant showing strength, not showing truth. The kitchen was quiet except for the clock ticking on the wall. There's something I need to tell both of you, Elon said finally. Something I've never told anyone. Justine and May waited. The day Nevada died, Elon's voice was rough. I was in a meeting, PayPal merger discussions. My phone rang. I saw it was Justine. I sent it to voicemail. Justine's hand went to her mouth. She called again. I answered, annoyed, and she told me. His voice broke. She told me to come home, that something was wrong, that Nevada wasn't breathing. Tears ran down his face. He didn't wipe them away. I drove home, but in the car I was already solving, already researching SIDS on my phone, already planning what questions to ask doctors, already thinking about how to fix it. Elon, Justine started. By the time I got there, he was gone, and I never got to just be with him. That last morning, I'd left early for the meeting. Didn't hold him, didn't say goodbye, just left. You didn't know, May said, but I should have known to be present when I had the chance, to choose that moment over that meeting, to understand that some things matter more than mergers and money and making history. He looked at Justine. You said the doctors found irregularities in an earlier checkup, that there were signs. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I should have been there for that checkup, but I wasn't. I was working, always working. And when you told me about the irregularities after he died, I couldn't handle it. So I researched SIDS until I convinced myself it was random, unpredictable, nobody's fault. It wasn't your fault, Justine said. It was my absence, my choice to prioritize work over presence, over and over again. He wiped his eyes. And I've been making that same choice for 22 years, with our sons, with you, with everyone. The three of them sat there, finally saying the things that had lived in silence for decades. I blamed myself too, Justine said quietly. I was there for the checkup. I heard the doctor mention the irregularities. He said they were probably nothing, to just keep an eye on Nevada. So I did. I checked on him constantly. But that morning, her voice broke. That morning I was tired. I'd been up all night with him. He finally fell asleep at 6 a.m. I thought I'd rest for just an hour, just 1 hour while he slept. She covered her face with her hands. When I woke up, it was 8:30, 2.5 hours, and he was gone. If I'd checked sooner, if I'd been more vigilant, if I hadn't let myself sleep. Stop, Elon said. He moved around the table, knelt beside her chair. It wasn't your fault. You were exhausted. You were alone. I should have been there. We both should have done things differently, Justine said. But we can't change it. We can only stop letting it destroy what we have left. May stood up, came to both of them, put her arms around her son and his ex-wife. Three people bound by love and loss and the courage to finally speak truth. Nevada would be 22 now, May said softly. A young man, maybe in college, maybe working, maybe chasing his own dreams. I think about that all the time, Elon said. So do I, Justine added. But he's not here, May continued. And our grief won't bring him back, but it might destroy the people who are here if we keep burying it. She pulled back, looked at both of them. I see it now, how Nevada's death created a silence between you, how that silence became distance, how the distance became divorce. We never talked about him after the funeral, Justine said. Not really, not about how we felt. I couldn't, Elon admitted. Every time I tried, I felt like I was drowning. So you worked instead, May said. Like Joshua worked, like I worked after divorcing your father. We all learned the same terrible lesson, that achievement is easier than grief. But achievement without grief is hollow, came a voice from the doorway. They turned. Daniel stood there. May must have given him the address. He looked apologetic. I'm sorry, Cora wanted me to bring you this. He held out a small package wrapped in brown paper. What is it? Elon asked. She wants you to read it before you visit her today. All three of you. Daniel set it on the table. She said it's the final piece of the story, the part she's been afraid to share. He left as quietly as he'd come. Elon unwrapped the package. Inside was another journal, not Almeida's but newer. Cora's handwriting on the cover, for my nephew when he's ready to understand. He opened it to the first page, dated March 1974. My father died today. Everyone says I should be sad, but I feel something else. Something I'm ashamed to admit. I feel free. Is that terrible to feel free when your father dies? But he was never really there anyway. He was always in the desert chasing his lost city. And when he was home, he was planning the next trip, the next adventure, the next escape. Mother pretended not to notice. May pretended it was heroic. But I saw it for what it was, a man running from his family because facing us was harder than facing danger. The lost city doesn't exist. Joshua knew that. Every expert told him it was a myth. But he kept searching because searching meant he didn't have to stop, didn't have to be still, Didn't have to sit with us and be present and be human. He died doing what he loved, people will say. But did he love exploring or did he love escaping? I'll never know. And maybe that's the saddest part. Elon read the entry aloud. When he finished, silence filled the kitchen. She's asking you a question, Justine said finally. The same question she asked herself about Joshua. Do I love building things? Elon said slowly. Or do I love escaping? Both can be true, May said. You can love your work and use it as escape. Joshua did, I did, you do. The question is, Justine said, what are you escaping from? Elon knew the answer, had known it for years but never admitted it. I'm escaping from being ordinary, from being just a person with feelings and failures and flaws, from being someone who lost his son and couldn't save him, from being someone who might not be enough. He looked at them. If I'm changing the world, saving humanity, building the future, then I matter. I'm important, I'm necessary. But if I'm just Elon, just a father and an ex-husband and a son, what if that's not enough? What if I'm not enough? May cupped his face in her hands. You're enough. You've always been enough. The rockets and the cars and the companies, they're extraordinary, but they're not what makes you matter. What does? This, she said. Right here, being honest, being present, being willing to hurt and heal and be human. Justine nodded. That's what Cora's been trying to tell you. That Joshua died searching for a lost city that didn't exist when he had a real city at home, real people who needed him. And you have real people who need you, May said. 5 sons, an ex-wife who still cares, a mother who loves you, an aunt who's dying and wants you to learn from her mistakes. Elon closed the journal. I need to bring the boys here to meet Cora before it's too late. Yes, Justine said, and I need to try, really try with Vivian, even if she doesn't want to talk to me. Yes, and I need to stop running, stop escaping, stop using work as an excuse to avoid feeling. May smiled through tears. Now you're ready to read the rest of Cora's journal. Elon opened it again, turned the pages, and began reading his aunt's 50-year journey from anger to understanding to, finally, acceptance. Outside, Toronto woke up to another ordinary October day. Inside Justine's kitchen, 3 people sat together, finally speaking the truths that silence had buried for decades. The healing had begun. 3 days later, Elon stood in Toronto Pearson International Airport waiting. His 5 sons were arriving, Griffin and Kai on one flight from Los Angeles, Saxon and Damien on another from San Francisco. They'd been at different schools, different programs, living their separate lives in the Musk universe of shared custody and complicated schedules. Elon had called each of them personally, not through assistants, not through text messages, actual phone calls. I need you to come to Toronto, he'd said. There's someone you need to meet, someone important. Griffin, 19, had been suspicious. Is this a work thing, another announcement? No, it's a family thing. We're family. The question had hurt more than Elon wanted to admit. Yes, we are, and I'm sorry I've made you doubt that. Silence on the line. Then, okay, Dad, I'll come. One by one, they'd all agreed. Even though they had classes, commitments, lives, they'd rearranged everything to be there because their father had asked, and Elon Musk never asked for anything personal. Now Elon watched the arrivals board, feeling more nervous than before any product launch. Justine stood beside him, her presence a quiet anchor. You're fidgeting, she said. I don't fidget. You're literally tapping your foot at 180 beats per minute. That's fidgeting. He stopped, started again without realizing it. What if they don't understand? He asked. What if they think this is weird? What if? Elon, Justine put her hand on his arm. They're coming because you asked. That's already something. Just be honest with them. That's all they need. The first flight arrived. Passengers streamed through customs. Then Elon saw them, Griffin and Kai, both tall like him, carrying backpacks, looking around uncertainly. Griffin spotted him first, raised a hand. They walked over, and for a moment no one knew quite what to do. Then Elon pulled them both into a hug. Griffin stiffened in surprise. Kai returned it awkwardly. They weren't used to this. Affection from their father wasn't common. Thanks for coming, Elon said. You sounded serious on the phone, Griffin said. We thought maybe something was wrong. Something's been wrong for a long time. I'm trying to fix it. Kai looked at Justine. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, sweetheart." She hugged them both. Natural, easy, the way Elon wished he could be. 20 minutes later, Saxon and Damien arrived. The same awkward greeting, the same surprising hug. All four boys together looking at their father with confused curiosity. "So what's going on?" Saxon asked. "You pulled us out of school. That's never happened." "There's someone you need to meet. Your great-aunt, my mother's sister." "Grandma May has a sister." Damien, 16, looked shocked. "Since when?" "Since always. They just haven't spoken in 50 years. "Why not?" Griffin asked. "That's a long story and she'll tell you herself." Elon gestured toward the exit. "Come on, we're all staying at Justine's place. Tomorrow we'll go meet her." They piled into 2 rental cars. The boys peppered him with questions the entire drive. Who was this aunt? Why the secrecy? What happened 50 years ago? Was Grandma May okay? Elon answered what he could, but mostly he said, "Listen to her story tomorrow. She tells it better than I do." At Justine's house, May was waiting. She hugged her grandsons fiercely, one by one. They towered over her now, these boys she'd watched grow from a distance while Elon built empires. "My beautiful grandsons," she said, tears in her eyes. "All together. When was the last time that happened?" The boys looked at each other, couldn't remember. "Too long," Griffin said. That night they ordered pizza, sat around Justine's dining table like a normal family. No servants, no formal dining rooms, no separation between the busy father and his scheduled children, just people talking, laughing, telling stories. Saxon talked about culinary school, his dream of opening a restaurant someday. Damien showed them his latest drawings on his tablet, superhero concepts he was developing for a graphic novel. Griffin mentioned his computer science classes, how he was working on AI ethics projects. Kai talked about his robotics team, how they'd placed 3rd in a national competition. Elon listened, really listened, asked questions, didn't check his phone once. At one point, Damien said, "Dad, you're being weird." "How so?" "You're here like actually here. Usually you're here but not here, you know." The table went quiet. "I know," Elon said. "I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to change." "Why?" Saxon asked, not unkindly, just curious. "Because I met someone who showed me what happens when you wait too long to change, when you let 50 years pass before you fix what's broken." "Your aunt," Griffin said. "My aunt. She's dying. And she spent 50 years separated from her sister, from your grandmother, because they were both too proud and too hurt to reach out." "That's sad," Kai said. "It's tragic," Elon corrected. "But they're together now, and I brought you here so you could meet her, so you could hear her story. And so maybe we don't make the same mistakes." May spoke up. "What your father is trying to say in his analytical way is that our family has a pattern. We chase dreams and lose people. We achieve great things and sacrifice connection. And we're trying to break that pattern, starting now." "By having pizza?" Damien asked, smiling slightly. "By having pizza," May confirmed. "And talking, and being in the same room without an agenda." Griffin studied his father. "Are you okay, Dad? This is really different for you." "I'm not okay, but I'm trying to be." Elon met his son's eyes. "I failed you, all of you. I've been so focused on changing the world that I forgot to be present in yours." "You didn't fail us," Saxon said quietly. "You're Elon Musk. You're literally changing humanity's future." "But what about your futures, your presents? Have I been there for those?" Silence. The answer hung unspoken. "No," Griffin said finally, with the honesty only a 19-year-old can deliver. "You haven't. You're our dad and we're proud of what you do. But we've also grown up knowing that SpaceX and Tesla and saving the world matter more than our soccer games and school plays and the normal stuff kids want their parents to care about." The words landed like physical blows. "You're right," Elon said. "And I'm sorry, I can't undo the past, but I can try to do better going forward." "How?" Kai asked. "You're still going to be busy, still going to have companies to run." "Yes, but I'm going to schedule you like I schedule launches, put you in my calendar as non-negotiable, make showing up for you as important as showing up for the world." Damien laughed. "That's so engineer of you, Dad, scheduling family time." "It's how my brain works, but at least it's a start, right?" Justine smiled. "It's a start." They talked late into the night. The boys asked about Cora, about Daniel, about the 50-year separation. May told them stories about growing up in South Africa with her sister before everything broke. Around midnight, Griffin asked the question they'd all been thinking. Is Vivian coming? The room went quiet. I asked her, Elon said. She said no. Did you tell her about Cora? Yes. And she still said no. She said, Elon's voice caught. She said she's glad I'm learning to be present for you guys, but she's not ready to be part of it yet. Griffin pulled out his phone. I'm texting her. Griffin, don't. Dad, she's my sibling, our sibling. He gestured to his brothers. We've been talking, the four of us, about Vivian, about how you didn't handle her transition well. I tried. You tried to fix her instead of accept her, Kai said gently. You treated her identity like a problem to be solved. Elon closed his eyes. You're right. So we're going to text her, Griffin continued. Tell her we're here, that we love her, that we want her here. Not because Dad wants it, but because we do. He typed quickly. The other brothers pulled out their phones, added to a group chat Elon apparently wasn't part of. There, Saxon said. Sent. May watched her grandsons with obvious pride. You four are better at this than any of us were at your age. We had to be, Damien said simply. We grew up watching our parents be brilliant at everything except being together. It was harsh, but fair. Justine and Elon exchanged glances. Their children had seen everything, understood more than they'd realized. An hour later, Griffin's phone buzzed. He read the message, face neutral. Well, Elon asked. She says she'll think about it, no promises. Griffin looked at his father. But that's more than you got, so I'd call it progress. It was progress, small, tentative, but real. That night the boys crashed in Justine's living room, sleeping bags scattered across the floor like they were kids again. Elon stood in the doorway watching them, these young men he'd helped create but barely knew. Justine came up beside him. You did good today. I ordered pizza and had a conversation. That's basic parenting. For you, it's revolutionary parenting, she smiled. Don't diminish it, you showed up, you listened, you admitted you were wrong, that takes courage. I'm terrified, he admitted. What if I can't maintain this? What if I slip back into old patterns? Then you'll slip and you'll correct. That's what growth looks like. Messy, imperfect, human. He looked at her. Thank you for orchestrating all this, for caring enough to intervene. I did it for them, she said, nodding toward the boys. But also for you, because somewhere under Elon Musk, billionaire genius, is Elon, the guy who sent me roses, who believed in impossible things, who had a good heart before the world taught him to armor it. Is that guy still in there? I saw him today, at dinner, listening to Damien talk about graphic novels like it was the most important thing in the world. Elon smiled slightly. It is the most important thing in the world. To him, that's what I'm learning. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching over the sleeping boys. Tomorrow, they'd take them to meet Cora. Tomorrow, the healing would continue. But tonight, for the first time in 2 decades, Elon Musk was simply a father standing in a doorway, watching his children sleep, feeling grateful they'd come when he called. It was enough. For now, it was enough. The next morning, they all drove to Maple Sunset residence. 6 Musks in 2 cars, Elon, May, Griffin, Kai, Saxon, and Damien. Justine followed in her own car. At the entrance, Elon stopped them. Before we go in, you need to understand something. Aunt Cora is dying. She's weak. She might not be able to talk for long. We understand, Griffin said. And there's someone else you'll meet. Daniel. He and Cora were in love 50 years ago in South Africa. They were separated by apartheid and bad luck in life, but they found each other again. That's beautiful, Saxon said. It's tragic and beautiful, Elon corrected. They lost 50 years. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let pride or fear or stubbornness steal your time with people who matter. The boys nodded solemnly. They walked inside, took the elevator, approached room 237. Elon knocked. Daniel opened the door, smiled warmly. The whole family, Cora will be so happy. They filed in. Cora sat in her wheelchair wearing a nice dress. Someone had done her hair. She prepared for this meeting like it was the most important event of her life, because it was. My great-nephews, she said, her voice weak but clear. Look at you, all so tall, so handsome, you have the Haldeman bones. One by one they approached, introduced themselves, shook her hand. Griffin brought flowers. Damien had drawn her a picture, an elderly woman with wings ascending toward stars. Cora held the drawing to her chest. This is the most beautiful thing anyone has ever given me. They pulled up chairs, crowded into the small room, and Cora told them her story. She told them about Joshua and Almeda, about growing up in South Africa, about meeting Daniel, about the immorality act and forbidden love, about losing 50 years and finding each other again. She told them about patterns that repeat through generations, about the cost of constant achievement, about choosing presence over progress. The boys listened, transfixed. When she finished, Saxon asked, "Do you regret the 50 years apart?" "Every single day," Cora said, "but you don't regret loving him." "Never." "Then maybe the 50 years were worth it," Saxon said thoughtfully, "because you found each other again, and that love is still true." Cora smiled. "That's a beautiful way to see it." Daniel squeezed her shoulder. "Your great-nephews are wise." They spent 2 hours together. Cora shared old photographs, told embarrassing stories about young May, asked about their dreams, their hopes, their lives. She treated them not like distant relatives but like precious treasures she'd been waiting to discover. As they prepared to leave, Cora called Elon over, whispered, "You're doing it, breaking the pattern, I can see it." "I'm trying." "That's all any of us can do." Outside, walking back to the cars, Griffin said, "I'm glad we came." "Me too," Kai agreed. "Dad," Damien stopped walking. "Can we do this more, just be together like this?" Elon's throat tightened. "Yes, I promise." Because Aunt Cora was right. Time passes fast, and I don't want to wake up in 50 years and realize we were strangers. "We won't be," Elon said. "Not anymore." They drove back to Justine's house, and for the first time in years the Musk family felt like a family, imperfect, healing, but together. That evening Elon's phone rang. Unknown number, Toronto area code. He answered. "Hello." "Mr. Musk," a woman's voice, professional. "This is Nurse Patricia from Maple Sunset Residence. Cora asked me to call you. She'd like to see you alone tomorrow morning. Just you. She says there's one more thing she needs to show you." "Is she okay?" A pause. "She's declining. The doctor thinks perhaps a week, maybe 2. She knows time is short." Elon's chest tightened. "Tell her I'll be there 8 a.m. She'll be waiting." He hung up. Justine looked up from where she sat reading with the boys. "Everything okay?" "Cora wants to see me tomorrow, alone." May's expression shifted. "The final piece." "What do you mean?" "She told me yesterday she had one more thing to share with you, something she could only tell you privately." May set down her tea. "Something about Nevada." The room went silent. The boys looked at each other uncomfortably. "About Nevada?" Elon's voice was barely a whisper. What could she possibly know about Nevada? She didn't even know he existed until last week. "I don't know, but she said you'd understand when you saw it." May touched his arm. "Go tomorrow, listen. Whatever it is, you need to hear it." The next morning, October 22, 2024, Elon arrived at Maple Sunset Residence at 7:45 a.m. Too early, too anxious to wait. The building was quiet. Morning shift nurses moved through halls. Breakfast carts rolled past, the ordinary rhythm of lives ending slowly. He knocked on room 237 at exactly 8. "Come in," Cora's voice called, weaker than yesterday. He entered. Daniel wasn't there. Cora sat alone in her wheelchair by the window, wrapped in blankets despite the heated room. She looked smaller, frailer, like she was slowly disappearing. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Sit, please." Elon sat in the chair beside her. "What did you want to show me?" "Direct as always, like Joshua, like May," she smiled slightly. "I'll get there, but first I need to ask you something. What do you believe happens after we die?" The question surprised him. "I don't know. I'm an engineer. I deal in measurable reality." "But surely you've thought about it, especially after losing Nevada." His jaw tightened. "I've thought about it. I don't have answers." "Neither do I," Cora said, "but I've had a lot of time to wonder, especially these past 6 months, knowing I'm dying." She gestured to a small wooden box on her dresser. Would you bring that to me? Elon retrieved it, different from the one she'd shown him before. Newer, lighter. Open it, she said. Inside was a photograph, color, not black and white, recent. It showed a young boy, maybe 9 or 10, with bright eyes and dark hair. He wore a soccer uniform and held a trophy, grinning at the camera. Who is this? Elon asked. His name is Marcus. He lives here in Toronto. He's Daniel's great-nephew, his brother's grandson. Elon studied the photo. The boy did look like Daniel. Same smile, same intelligent eyes. Why are you showing me this? Cora took a shaky breath. After Daniel and I reunited 6 months ago, he introduced me to his family. His brother passed away years ago, but his niece lives here with her children. Marcus is the youngest. Okay. Marcus has a rare heart condition. Congenital. He's been on a transplant list for 2 years. Without a new heart, he'll die before his 12th birthday. Elon's stomach dropped. He knew where this was going. His mother, Alina, is a single parent, works 2 jobs, can't afford the experimental treatments that might buy Marcus more time. The Canadian healthcare system covers the basics, but not the cutting-edge options. You want me to pay for his treatment? No, Cora's voice was firm. I'm not asking you to save him with your money, Elon. I'm asking you to meet him. Why? Because when I met Marcus 3 weeks ago, do you know what I saw? Elon shook his head. I saw Nevada. I saw the son you lost, the boy who would be 22 now if SIDS hadn't taken him. Tears rolled down her wrinkled cheeks. I saw a 10-year-old fighting to live, and I thought, this is someone's Nevada, and somewhere someone has the power to help. So you are asking me to pay. I'm asking you to transform grief into purpose. She gripped his hand with surprising strength. You couldn't save Nevada. No amount of money or intelligence or willpower could bring him back. That loss will always hurt. But Marcus is here, real, living, needing help. Elon stared at the photograph. This smiling boy who reminded Cora of the son he'd lost. I've donated to children's hospitals, he said. Medical research, lots of causes. I know, millions of dollars, very generous, very distant. Cora pulled out another photo. Marcus in a hospital bed, thinner, wearing a hospital gown, still smiling. But have you ever sat with one of those children, looked them in the eyes, seen Nevada in their faces? That's not fair. Life isn't fair. Nevada dying wasn't fair. Daniel and I losing 50 years wasn't fair. Marcus needing a heart at age 10 isn't fair. She pushed the photo toward him. But we can choose how we respond to unfairness. What do you want me to do? Meet him, just meet him. Alina brings him to visit me twice a week. She'll be here this afternoon with Marcus. Stay, talk to them. Look at this child and decide for yourself what Nevada's death means. What it means? Does it mean you work harder, build more rockets, escape further into achievement? Or does it mean you transform that loss into presence for other children who need someone to see them? Elon stood up, agitated, paced to the window. You're manipulating me. Yes, absolutely. I'm a dying woman with nothing to lose and a great nephew who needs help. I'm using every tool I have. This isn't about Marcus. This is about me changing. It's about both. Cora's voice softened. Elon, you can't bring Nevada back, but you can honor his memory by being present for children who are still here, not with donations and press releases, with your time, your attention, your humanity. He turned around. What if I meet Marcus and can't handle it? What if seeing him just reopens wounds that never healed? Then the wounds reopen, and maybe that's necessary, she smiled sadly. You've been running from Nevada's death for 22 years. Maybe it's time to run toward it instead, to let it break you open so you can finally heal. Elon sat back down, picked up the photograph. Marcus's smile was infectious, innocent, full of hope despite everything. Tell me about him, Elon said quietly. He loves soccer, wants to be a professional player even though he can barely run without getting exhausted. He draws constantly, mostly superheroes. Says when he grows up, he wants to invent artificial hearts so other kids don't have to wait for transplants. He wants to be an inventor. He wants to save people, like someone saved him, except no one has yet. Elon closed his eyes, saw Nevada's face, saw this boy Marcus, saw all the children who lived and died while he built rockets to escape Earth. What time are they coming? 2 o'clock. He checked his watch, 6 hours. I have a Tesla board meeting at 3, video conference. Cancel it. I can't just. You can, Cora interrupted. You're Elon Musk. You can do whatever you want. The question is, what do you want to do? He looked at the photograph again. Marcus holding a trophy. So proud, so alive, so temporary, like Nevada had been, like everyone was. I'll stay, he said. Cora's entire face brightened. Thank you. But I'm not promising anything. I'll meet them, that's all. That's enough. Meeting people, really meeting them, that's always enough. They sat in comfortable silence. Outside, Toronto moved through its ordinary Tuesday, people going to work, children going to school, lives being lived. Can I ask you something? Elon said. Anything. Do you believe in heaven, in seeing people again after death? Cora looked out the window. I don't know about heaven, but I believe love doesn't end just because bodies do. I believe the people we lose stay with us in ways we can't measure but can feel. So Nevada is still your son, still matters, still teaches you things even 22 years later. She turned to him. That's what I learned from losing 50 years with Daniel. Love doesn't diminish with distance or time. It just changes form. From presence to memory. From one kind of presence to another, she smiled. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, memory becomes presence again. They talked until noon. Cora told him more about Marcus, about Alina, about Daniel's family. She told him about the dreams Marcus had despite his failing heart. And Elon listened, really listened. Not planning, not solving, just hearing. At 1:45 p.m., Daniel arrived with a woman in her mid-30s, tired eyes, kind smile, wearing nurse scrubs, Alina, and beside her in a wheelchair was Marcus, thin, pale, but with eyes that blazed with life. He looked at Elon and said, "Are you really Elon Musk, the rocket guy?" Elon knelt down to Marcus's level, looked into those hopeful eyes, and saw Nevada looking back. "Yeah," Elon said, his voice thick. "I'm the rocket guy." "Cool," Marcus grinned. "I want to build artificial hearts. We should collaborate." And despite everything, the grief, the fear, the weight of the moment, Elon laughed. A real laugh from deep in his chest. The first genuine laugh in years. "Yeah," he said. "We should definitely collaborate." Elon spent 3 hours with Marcus. They talked about rockets and hearts, about how both were pumps, one for fuel, one for blood. Marcus showed him drawings he'd made of his artificial heart design, crude but creative, with ideas that actually made engineering sense. "See, the problem with current artificial hearts is they're too big," Marcus explained, his thin fingers tracing the sketch. "Kids my size can't use them. So I thought, what if instead of one big pump you use multiple small pumps? Like how SpaceX uses multiple engines instead of one giant one." Elon stared at this 10-year-old boy who could barely breathe but was solving complex medical engineering problems. "That's actually brilliant," Elon said. "The redundancy would increase reliability too." Marcus beamed. "Exactly. If one pump fails, the others keep working. You don't die while they fix it." Alina watched them, tears in her eyes. Her son, her dying son, was discussing cardiac engineering with Elon Musk like they were colleagues. Cora sat in her wheelchair, smiling. Daniel stood beside her, his hand on her shoulder. They'd orchestrated this moment, and it was unfolding exactly as Cora had hoped. "Marcus," Elon said carefully, "your mom told me you're waiting for a heart transplant." The boy's enthusiasm dimmed slightly. "Yeah, been on the list for 2 years, but I'm type AB negative blood, really rare, and I'm small for my age because of the heart thing, so I need a small heart. It's complicated." "But you're still hopeful." "I have to be. If I give up, I die faster." Marcus said it matter-of-factly, the way only someone who's lived with death can. "So I keep drawing, keep inventing, keep believing someone will figure it out." Elon's throat tightened. "What if they don't? What if the transplant doesn't come in time?" Marcus shrugged. "Then at least I spent my time doing what I love. My mom says that's all anyone can do, make the time you have matter." Alina's voice cracked. "Marcus, honey." "It's okay, Mom. Mr. Musk asked a real question. He deserves a real answer." Marcus looked at Elon with eyes far too old for his face. I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of not living first. You know what I mean? Elon nodded, unable to speak, because he understood exactly what Marcus meant. Nevada had died without getting to live, without first days of school or first crushes or dreams about the future. Just 10 weeks, then nothing. But Marcus had 10 years, had dreams and drawings and a mind that burned bright even as his body failed. He was living, truly living in the time he had. Can I show you something? Elon pulled out his phone. Scrolled through photos until he found one from 2002. Nevada, barely 2 months old, wrapped in a blue blanket. He'd looked at this photo maybe 5 times in 22 years. It hurt too much. But now he showed it to Marcus. This was my son, Nevada. He died when he was 10 weeks old. Marcus studied the photo carefully. He's beautiful. I'm sorry you lost him. Me too. Is that why you build rockets? To get away from the sad? The question hit like a physical blow. From the mouth of a child, the truth Elon had been avoiding for 2 decades. Maybe, Elon admitted. Yeah, maybe it is. My mom says running from sad doesn't work. The sad just follows you. Marcus handed back the phone. She says you have to sit with it, let it hurt, then it gets smaller. Your mom is very wise. Alina wiped her eyes. I learned it the hard way. Marcus's father left when he got diagnosed. Couldn't handle having a sick kid. I spent a year being angry, running from the pain. But Marcus, she looked at her son with infinite love. He taught me that sitting still in the hard moments is the bravest thing you can do. Cora spoke up, her voice weak. Elon, do you see it now? What I wanted you to see. What? Nevada's death broke you. You've spent 22 years trying to fix that break with achievement. Building companies, changing industries, planning to colonize Mars, all of it trying to prove that you matter despite losing him. But Marcus is showing you something different, Daniel added. That mattering isn't about achievement, it's about presence, about showing up in the time you have. Elon looked around the room. At Cora, dying but finally reconciled with her sister. At Daniel, who'd waited 50 years and never stopped loving. At Alina, raising a dying child with grace and courage. At Marcus, living fully in the shadow of death. And he understood. This was what shocked everyone. What would shock the world if they knew? Elon Musk, billionaire, innovator, the man trying to make humanity multiplanetary, had spent 22 years running from grief. Building an empire on the foundation of one tiny grave. And a 10-year-old boy with a failing heart had just shown him how to stop running. I want to help, Elon said. Whatever Marcus needs, experimental treatments, specialist consultations, research funding. Mr. Musk, Alina started, please, let me do this. He looked at Marcus. Not because it will bring Nevada back, but because you remind me that the best way to honor someone you lost is to show up for someone who's still here. Marcus grinned. Does this mean we're collaborating on the artificial heart thing? Yes, absolutely yes. Elon pulled out his phone. I'm going to connect you with Neuralink's bioengineering team, and I'm funding a research initiative specifically for pediatric cardiac solutions. We're going to make your multi-pump design a reality. Even if I die before it's finished. Especially if you die before it's finished, then other kids like you will live because of your idea. Elon knelt down again. You'll save lives, Marcus. I promise you that. The boy's eyes filled with tears. Really? Really? Marcus launched himself out of his wheelchair, shouldn't have, wasn't supposed to exert himself, and hugged Elon. Elon held this fragile child, felt the weak heartbeat against his chest, and wept. For Nevada, who never got to dream about artificial hearts or rockets or growing up. For Marcus, who dreamed big despite knowing those dreams might die with him. For himself, finally letting the grief wash through him instead of damming it up behind work and achievements and constant motion. Alina joined the hug. Then Daniel, then Cora, wheeling close and putting her arms around all of them. A circle of people bound by loss and love and the courage to stay present in pain. When they finally separated, Elon wiped his eyes, looked at Cora. Thank you for this, for all of it. Thank Daniel too. Marcus is his family. Thank you both. Daniel nodded. Use this, Elon. Let this change you, not just for a week or a month, but permanently. Let Marcus and Nevada teach you what matters." "I will." "Promise me," Cora said urgently. "Promise me you won't go back to California and forget this feeling. Promise me you'll stay changed." "I promise." "Good," she smiled, exhausted. "Because that's what I needed to see before I die, that you understand that the pattern breaks with you." That evening back at Justine's house, Elon gathered everyone. May, Justine, all 5 boys, Griffin, Kai, Saxon, Damien had come. And on video call, after much persuasion from her brothers, was Vivian. She appeared on the screen, cautious. "Hi, Dad." "Hi, Viv," he caught himself. "Hi, Vivian, thank you for joining." "My brothers said it was important." "It is to me." He took a breath. "I need to tell you all something about today, about what Aunt Cora showed me." He told them about Marcus, about the conversation, about seeing Nevada in a dying boy's eyes and finally understanding what he'd been running from. "For 22 years, I've been trying to prove that Nevada's death didn't break me," Elon said. "That I could achieve enough, build enough, change enough to make up for losing him, to prove I was still worthy despite failing to protect my son." Vivian's image on screen was still listening. "But today, Marcus asked me if I build rockets to get away from the sad, and he was right. I've been running to Mars to escape Earth, to escape grief, to escape all of you because being present meant feeling pain." He looked at each of his children. "I'm done running. I'm done using achievement as an excuse to avoid connection. I'm done being the father who's saving the world but missing your lives." "Dad," Griffin started. "Let me finish, please." Elon's voice cracked. "I failed Nevada by not being there when he needed me. I've been failing you by not being here when you need me. And I failed you, Vivian, most of all." On screen, Vivian's eyes glistened. "I tried to fix you instead of accepting you. I treated your identity like a problem to be solved instead of a truth to be honored. I was so focused on my vision of who you should be that I couldn't see who you actually are." Tears rolled down Vivian's cheeks. "I'm sorry. I'm so deeply sorry. You deserved a father who saw you, who listened to you, who loved you exactly as you are. And I failed at that." Silence filled the room. Then Vivian spoke, voice trembling. "Do you mean it? Or is this just another thing you're saying because you feel guilty?" "I mean it. And yes, I feel guilty. But more than that, I feel like I finally understand what I've been doing wrong. And I want to do better, if you'll let me. I don't know if I can trust you yet. I understand. I haven't earned your trust, but I'm asking for the chance to try." More silence. "Then, can we talk, just the two of us, not now but someday?" "Whenever you're ready, I'll be here. I promise to be here." Vivian nodded, wiped her eyes. "Okay, maybe next month, maybe longer, but okay." It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a door opening. Griffin spoke up. "Dad, we're proud of you for what you're doing, for changing. I should have changed 20 years ago. But you're changing now. That matters." Kai looked at his brothers. They all nodded. "We want to be part of this. Want to help with Marcus's artificial heart project. Want to be involved in your life, not just witnesses to it." "I'd like that." May smiled through tears. "My son, finally learning what his grandmother tried to teach me and Joshua never learned. That being present is the greatest achievement. Cora taught me that, and Marcus, and all of you." Elon looked at Justine. "And you orchestrated this whole intervention because you still cared enough to save me from myself." "Not just for you," Justine said. "For our sons, for the family we made and almost lost." "Are we still a family?" Saxon asked. "Even with everything broken and complicated?" "Yes," Elon and Justine said together. "Not the family we planned," Justine continued, "but the family we actually are, imperfect, healing, choosing each other despite the pain." Damien pulled out his sketchbook. "I drew something, for Nevada, for Marcus, for all of us." He showed them a drawing, a family of figures standing together under stars. Above them, a small angel figure watched over them. Below, words in careful lettering. "The ones we've lost teach us how to love the ones we still have." Elon stared at it, unable to speak. "Can I put this in Nevada's memorial?" Damien asked. "Next time we visit." "Yes," Elon managed. "He'd love it." The evening stretched on. They talked about Marcus, about Cora's declining health, about plans to visit her every day for whatever time remained. They talked about changing family dynamics, about scheduling regular gatherings, about making presence a priority over achievement. Around midnight, Vivian's video call was still connected. She'd fallen asleep on camera, her face peaceful on the screen. Elon watched his daughter sleep, this child he'd hurt, who was slowly, tentatively letting him back in. "There's your shock," Justine whispered beside him. "That's what you found when you visited me after 20 years. What? That the greatest discovery isn't on Mars. It's right here, in choosing to be present, in letting grief transform you instead of destroy you, in understanding that your children need your presence more than they need your achievements. That's going to shock everyone. It's going to shock everyone who thinks they know Elon Musk, the genius who solves impossible problems. They expect you to fix the world, not yourself." Elon looked around the room, at his mother finally reunited with her sister, at his sons learning to trust him again, at his daughter sleeping peacefully despite their broken relationship, at Justine, his ex-wife who'd become his closest ally in healing. "I didn't come to Toronto to find my aunt," he said quietly. "I came to find myself, the person I was before achievement became armor, before loss became rocket fuel." "And did you find him?" "I'm finding him, one conversation at a time, one present moment at a time." "That's enough," Justine said. "For now, that's enough." Outside, Toronto slept. Inside, a family healed, slowly, imperfectly, but together. And Elon Musk, the man who could solve impossible engineering problems but couldn't solve his own broken heart, finally learned the one thing that matters most. Showing up, being present, choosing connection over conquest. That was the shock. That was what he found, and it changed everything. November 3, 2024, 3:47 a.m., Elon's phone rang, pulling him from restless sleep. He grabbed it from the nightstand, saw the number, Maple Sunset Residence. His heart stopped. "Hello. Mr. Musk, this is Nurse Patricia. I'm sorry to call so early, but Cora asked for you. It's time." "I'll be right there." He threw on clothes, ran downstairs. The house was dark, everyone sleeping. He scribbled a note, "Gone to see Cora, call when you wake up." The streets were empty, Toronto in the dead hours between night and morning. His rental car sped through red lights, past closed shops, through a city that felt like a ghost town. He made the 30-minute drive in 18 minutes. The residence was quiet. A single nurse at the front desk nodded him through. She knew. Everyone knew. Death had its own language in places like this. Room 237, door slightly open. Soft light spilling into the hallway. Elon knocked gently, pushed inside. Daniel sat beside Cora's bed, holding her hand. May was there too, on the other side, her face wet with tears. They'd been called first, had been there for hours. Cora lay propped up on pillows, oxygen tube in her nose, looking impossibly small, but her eyes were clear, alert. She smiled when she saw Elon. "You came," she whispered. "Of course I came." He approached the bed, knelt down so his face was level with hers. "Good, I was worried I'd miss you." Her breathing was labored, each word cost her. "Needed to see you one more time." "Cora, save your strength." "For what? I'm dying, Elon. Might as well use my words while I have them." She managed a weak smile. "Stubborn until the end, very Haldeman of me." May laughed through tears. "You always were stubborn." "Takes one to know one, sister." Cora squeezed May's hand, then looked at Elon. "Tell me, did it work? Did Marcus change you?" "Yes, completely." "You're not just saying that to make a dying woman happy." "I'm saying it because it's true. I met with his doctors yesterday, set up funding for his treatment, connected Alina with specialists at 3 different hospitals, and I'm personally overseeing the artificial heart research." "But that's not what I asked. I asked if it changed you." Elon understood. "I spent 4 hours with Marcus yesterday, just talking, drawing designs together, not because I had to, but because I wanted to, because being with him mattered more than every meeting I canceled." Cora's eyes sparkled. And Vivian agreed to have dinner with me next week, just the 2 of us. No agenda, no trying to fix anything, just being together." "How do you feel about that?" "Terrified and grateful." "Good, fear means you care." Cora coughed, a rattling sound. Daniel lifted water to her lips. She sipped, continued. What about your other children? Griffin and I are building something together. Not for Tesla or SpaceX, just a project that's ours. Kai asked me to come to his next robotics competition. Saxon wants me to try the restaurant where he's training. Damien is teaching me to draw. And you're saying yes to all of it. Every single thing. I cleared my schedule for the next month, delegated what I could. The companies will survive without me micromanaging every decision. May gasped, you delegated, you never delegate. I'm learning to trust other people. I'm learning that the world doesn't collapse when I stop trying to control everything. He looked at Cora. You were right, about the patterns, about Joshua, about me using achievement to avoid presence. I know I was right, Cora said with a ghost of her old humor. I'm always right, ask Daniel. It's true, Daniel said softly. 50 years and she's never been wrong once. They all laughed quiet, sad laughter that acknowledged the absurdity of joking while someone died. Daniel, Cora said, turning to him, tell them. Tell them what, love? What you told me last night, about the letters. Daniel's weathered face softened. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a thick envelope. I brought the letters I wrote to Cora over 50 years, 604 of them, one for every month we were apart. He opened one at random, read aloud. July 1989. Dear Cora, 15 years today since we were separated. I attended a bridge opening ceremony in Johannesburg. Beautiful structure. Connects two parts of the city that were divided by apartheid. While giving my speech, I thought, I've spent my career building bridges between places, but I couldn't build one back to you. That failure haunts me more than any engineering challenge I've faced. I wonder where you are tonight. I wonder if you think of me. I wonder if love really can survive time and distance, or if I'm fooling myself by writing these letters to someone who may have forgotten me entirely. But I'll keep writing, because the alternative, accepting that we're truly lost to each other, is unbearable. Always yours, Daniel. Tears streamed down Daniel's face. I wrote one every month, told her about my life, my work, the family she never met, the world changing around us, and always, always I told her I loved her. 604 letters, Cora whispered. That's 604 times he chose to remember me when forgetting would have been easier. I couldn't forget, Daniel said simply. I didn't want to. Elon watched them, two people in their final moments together after 50 years apart. The room felt sacred, heavy with the weight of love that had survived impossible odds. That's what I wanted you to see, Cora said to Elon. Not just the loss of 50 years, but the faithfulness through them. Daniel could have moved on, could have married someone else, built a different life. But he chose to remain true to what we had. Even when it seemed hopeless, Daniel added, even when it hurt. That's real love, Cora said. Not the easy kind, the hard kind. The kind that shows up even when no one's watching, even when there's no reward, even when it costs you everything. She looked at Elon intensely. That's what your children need from you. That's what Vivian needs. Not your money or your fame or your genius. They need you to show up, faithfully, even when it's hard, even when you feel like you're failing. I understand, Elon said. Do you? Really? Cora's grip tightened on his hand. Because understanding and doing are different things, and you're very good at understanding things intellectually while failing at them emotionally. Cora May started. No, let me say this, I'm dying, I get to be blunt. She coughed again harder, took a moment to recover. Elon, you're brilliant, everyone knows that, but brilliance isn't enough. Your children don't need a genius. They need a father who shows up to dinner, who remembers their birthdays without an assistant reminding you, who asks about their days and actually listens to the answers. I'm trying. Try harder. Keep trying. Try for the rest of your life. Because the alternative is waking up in 50 years, successful and alone, wondering why no one calls anymore. The words hit like hammer blows, true, terrifying, necessary. I will, Elon promised. I swear to you I will. Cora smiled, relaxed back into her pillows. Good, then I can go in peace. Don't talk like that, May said, voice breaking. Not yet. Oh, sister, it's time. I'm so tired. Cora looked at May with infinite tenderness. Thank you for coming, for forgiving me, for giving me these final weeks together. I should have come 50 years ago. We both should have tried 50 years ago, but we didn't. And now we know better. Cora touched May's face. Don't let pride steal any more years from you. Not with your children, your grandchildren, anyone. Life is too short for unnecessary distance. I won't, I promise. Good. Cora closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them again, she looked at each person in the room. I'm ready now. I've said what I needed to say. I've reconciled with my sister. I've met my nephew. I've spent these final months with the man I've loved for 52 years. Don't, Daniel whispered. Please don't. Daniel, my love, I need you to do something for me. Anything. Keep writing letters, not to me anymore, but to Marcus, to Alina, to this family we've built in these final weeks. Keep being the bridge that connects people. I will. And maybe, her voice grew fainter, maybe write to Elon sometimes. Remind him of what he learned here. Make sure he doesn't forget. Daniel looked at Elon. I'll write and you'll read them. Every single one, Elon promised. Cora smiled. Then I've done everything I came here to do. Her breathing grew shallower, the spaces between breaths longer. The oxygen machine beeped quietly, marking time running out. May was crying openly now. I love you, sister. I love you too, always did, even through the silence. Daniel leaned close, pressed his forehead to hers. Thank you for these 6 months, for letting me find you again, for remembering me. I never forgot, not for a single day. She touched his face one last time. You were my great love, Daniel Molf, my only love. And you were mine. They stayed like that, foreheads together, breathing the same air. Two people who'd lost 50 years but hadn't lost each other. Elon watched, witnessing something profound. This was what mattered, not rockets or cars or colonizing Mars, but this, two people connected across time and pain and impossible odds, choosing love until the very end. Cora's eyes found Elon one last time. Promise me. I promise I'll be present, I'll show up, I'll choose connection. Good, her voice was barely a whisper now. Then Nevada didn't die for nothing. His loss taught you something, finally. Her eyes closed, the breathing slowed. Daniel held her hand, May held the other. Elon stood at the foot of the bed, witness to an ending and a beginning. At 4:23 a.m., Cora Haldeman took her last breath. Daniel pressed his lips to her forehead. Thank you, he whispered, for waiting for me, for loving me, for 52 years. May sobbed, holding her sister's still warm hand. I'm sorry we lost so much time. She forgave you, Elon said quietly. She told me that she forgave you both. They sat in silence as dawn broke outside the window, Toronto waking up to a new day, a day Cora wouldn't see, but a day that existed because of what she'd taught them. A nurse came in quietly, checked for a pulse that wasn't there, made notes on a chart. I'm so sorry for your loss. Take all the time you need. They stayed for an hour, saying goodbye in their own ways. Daniel told her stories about Cape Town, about the life they'd have had. May talked about their childhood, about dreams they'd shared before everything broke apart. Elon simply stood there, holding the lesson Cora had given him like a precious stone. Finally, they left, walking out of room 237 for the last time. In the parking lot, May turned to Elon. What are you going to do now? I'm going to call my children, all of them, and I'm going to tell them I love them. And then I'm going to keep calling, every day, until it becomes natural, until presence becomes my default instead of absence. Daniel spoke up, his voice raw with grief. I'll be in touch, we'll arrange the funeral, and I'll start writing you those letters Cora asked for. I'll read every one. See that you do. She died believing you'd change. Don't make her wrong. I won't. They parted ways, Daniel heading to tell Alina and Marcus, May returning with Elon to Justine's house. In the car, May said, she saved you, you know, my sister. In dying, she saved you from becoming Joshua, from dying alone in your own desert, chasing your own lost city. I know. Don't waste it. I won't, I promise. When they arrived at the house, everyone was awake. Justine, the boys, all waiting for news they already knew from Elon's face. She's gone, he said simply. Griffin hugged him. Then Kai, Saxon, Damien. They held their father, letting him grieve in a way he'd never let himself grieve for Nevada. On the video screen, Vivian watched, her face sad. "I'm sorry, Dad. I wish I could have met her." "Me too. She would have loved you, exactly as you are." "Did she really change you? Or is this just grief talking?" Elon looked at his daughter through the screen. "Ask me in 6 months. Ask me in a year. Ask me in 50 years. I'll still be showing up. I promise you that." Vivian nodded. Didn't say she believed him, but didn't say she didn't either. It was enough, for now. The rest of the day was a blur, making funeral arrangements, calling family members, sitting together in grief, processing loss. But through it all, Elon felt something he hadn't felt in 22 years since Nevada died. Peace. Not happiness, not resolution, but peace with the brokenness, peace with the grief, peace with being human and flawed and still trying. That night, lying in bed, Elon pulled out his phone, opened his notes app, and began writing. What did I find when I visited my ex-wife after 20 years? I found my Aunt Cora, who taught me about the cost of silence. I found Daniel, who taught me about the faithfulness of love. I found Marcus, who taught me that living fully matters more than living long. I found my mother and sister reconciling after 50 years apart. I found my children, willing to give me another chance despite years of absence. I found Justine, who orchestrated an intervention because she still cared enough to save me from myself. But most of all, I found the answer to a question I'd been avoiding for 22 years. What does Nevada's death mean? It means that loss can destroy you or transform you, that grief can be a wall or a doorway, that the greatest way to honor someone you've lost is to be present for the people you still have. I found that the lost city I've been chasing, Mars, success, legacy, was never the point. The real city was always here, on Earth, in living rooms and hospital rooms and coffee shops, in conversations with dying aunts and sick children and estranged daughters. I found that being Elon Musk isn't my greatest achievement. Being Elon, father, son, human, present is. That's what shocked everyone, including me. Not a scandal, not a secret, just a truth. The most extraordinary thing a person can do is show up. He saved the note, put down the phone, and for the first time in years slept without dreaming of Mars. So that's what Elon Musk found when he visited his ex after 20 years. Not a scandal, not a secret fortune, but something far more valuable, the truth about what really matters in life. Now I'm curious, where are you watching this from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. I love hearing from you all around the world. If this story touched your heart or taught you something about being present for the people you love, please hit that like button. It really helps spread this message of kindness to more people who need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss stories like this, stories that remind us what truly matters in life. There's another incredible story waiting for you right now. Just click on the video appearing on your screen. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thank you for watching, and remember, the greatest journey isn't to Mars or any distant place. It's the journey back to the people standing right beside you. See you in the next video.